Good morning, everyone. Welcome to this week's episode with Breakfast with Boom. I hope you're having an incredible Friday. This is obviously a holiday weekend. Hopefully, you're one of the people that have Monday offs and you took off today, so you give yourself a nice 4-block weekend, which would be fantastic. We have a bunch of awesome guests, which I'm going to introduce in a second, but we also have incredible topics. And I just want everyone to know that, when I decided to do this show, I wanted to make sure that when I put pen to paper, all three consoles were going to be represented fairly. And you're going to see a good glimpse of that today because we're going to be talking Nintendo. We're going to be talking Sony. And of course, we're going to be talking Xbox. I hope you stay to the end. If I don't, shout you out in the chat, I'm sorry. I'm still learning the ropes. But let's get to our amazing guests. And first, I'm being raised as a gentleman. I'm going to start off with the two women that happen to be some of my favorite gamers in the YouTube and Twitter community. And I want to start off with someone that not only is a Dark Souls fanatic, but will curb stomp you if you disrespect her. And that is my very good friend, the lovely Luca. Thank you so much for coming on the show, darling.
Oh, man. Obviously, Boom is my brother. I got a lot of love for this guy. Ever since his first couple of appearances on Crossfire, I'm like, this guy is good. I like him on the show.
Thank you.
I reached out to him and I said, hey, man, you're doing really great. Good job. Because, it's nice hearing different people. Because we all hear the same people over and over and over again throughout the week. So Boom was like a breath of fresh air. You know what I mean? So I was like, okay, this guy's cool. He's very polite. He's respectful. I've had him on a couple of my shows. So I'm happy to call this guy my friend.
I definitely appreciate that. And I call you my friend as well. It is, you've shown me a lot. And I really appreciate the open arms you've shown me over the couple of months of me being in this. And next, someone that was with me on my first Crossfire, who, believe it or not, she doesn't know this, but I have learned so much from watching her amazing channel, who also encouraged me to, without even saying the words, do unboxing videos. And It just goes to prove that you can, in fact, teach old dogs new tricks. A very good friend of mine, someone who I love supporting, who I think is an amazing personality. That is, of course, the lovely Lady Foxfire. Thank you so much for coming on.
Oh my gosh, that intro though, I'm blushing over here. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. And actually, I was going to say that in my intro, that I was there in your first episode.
Yes,
and you were awesome. You're definitely a highlight. And of course, I was also there with Luca's first episode, so it's really awesome being in the podcast. Like she said, with new people, new opinions, and everything like that. She's remembering good old days.
Oh, I'm remembering when you made fun of me, but okay.
No. Okay, wait, scratch that. Rewind. I've made up for it ever since with my silly, crappy jokes. But yeah, I'm happy to be here. I'm not a morning person, but definitely I tend to do some of these in the morning, and
I
it's really
definitely
nice.
appreciate it. Thank you so much.
No, of course. I'm looking forward to talking about some stuff with you guys and being on here with Luca, of course.
Well, next up is someone that I've personally never met, but we have had so many amazing gaming chats, but more importantly, we've talked about life. And I think that it's understated how good he is to this community. And that is the showrunner of the Dragon X podcast and my personal very good friend, the Welsh Gamer. Dude, thank you so much for coming on the show today.
No, cheers, Boom, and thank you everyone for being here. It's a great panel. I haven't met Ash and Luca personally, anyone, Foxfire or JDeb, so it's nice to meet you all. And no, buzzing. Thank you for having me. I mean, we met on Casual Consoles.
Yes.
Coffee
Casuals and Consoles.
Yeah,
show. Yes.
Bit of a tongue twister, but yeah, that was how we met. And in fairness, we've been good mates since. So it's been awesome. Thank you for having me.
Oh, my pleasure, brother. And last but certainly not least, someone that greases the wheels and literally keeps M&C mornings on the track each and every Sunday. A very good friend, but someone that I call my brother, and that is the graphic god, also known as J-Dubs. Welcome back to the show. You were on last week. You killed it. I'm so glad you decided to come back on today.
No, I appreciate you even wanting me to come back. I mean, I think this is a record that I'm actually on 2 podcasts in a row, besides M&C mornings, that is. I don't think I even did Crossfire 2 weeks in a row, and I was on the first episode of that show too. But no, I appreciate it. But I've got something I can beat you all at. You guys are all bragging about your Luca first stories. Well, guess what? I was the very first person to ever speak to Luca. So
wow.
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 See, you learn something every day.
That's right. She called in M&C mornings that one time, and her life has never been the same.
Pretty much. Oh man, I've met so many great people in the community.
Yeah, this community is amazing. It really is.
You know what, Jay? Thank you for putting her through. She's amazing.
All right. Well, listen, we're going to jump right into these topics, and I put together a lineup that I think is going to make everyone happy who stays around to listen to it. But I want to start off with something important because last night Aaron Greenburg had sent out a tweet, and I have been very vocal about how I feel that not only are there too many Unity candles lit over at Redmond, but they haven't shown the fight that you want a company who's in third place to show, right? Like you want someone to be pissed off. So he was replying to, and I'm going to see if I can pronounce the name correctly. It's Agrano G7X. And basically, he was asking him about, their E3 preparations. And this is what Aaron Greenburg wrote back. And I quote, "Not yet. We're still finalizing the show, but we are not holding back this year." You see, now, I know that it's only a couple of words, but as an Xbox fan, it's been a little tough. There's no doubt about it that, you want better for your brand. And Microsoft, listen, like them, love them, hate them, whatever, through 2017 and now through 2018, they have made it very hard to stay positive on the brand. And it's not because the system is garbage. It seems, it's everyone's opinion, not just mine, that their lack of enthusiasm and fight, in this industry is very apparent. So I'm going to start off with Luca. What do you think about this tweet? Does this give you hope that this E3 is going to be something special for the fans?
Listen, I hate to be that Debbie Downer.
No, please. This is a conversational podcast. Talk away.
Honestly, no, it doesn't give me any hope. I'm still highly skeptical. Okay. And I try to keep my expectations in line when it comes to E3 or honestly anything that any of these executives say, anything that any developer says. I'm just kind of like, because I want you to show me words. Anyone can come out and say anything they want. You know what I mean? But if you show me that you actually mean what you say, then I'm like, okay, I can vibe with this. But as it stands right now, I'm just kind of like, okay, Aaron, whatever you say, man. Because for all we know, he could just be trying to hype everyone up, and it could be like a 2-hour show of indies or some shit. Or they could not show any new IPs, which has been like the staple for Xbox, but yes, my business. Yeah. Listen, I don't know. Listen, E3 is coming up. I love E3. I'm always excited for E3, just the general concept of E3, because it's like a gamer's paradise, so to speak. But I'm not expecting anything from any of the big three in terms of new games. I'm just kind of like, I'll wait and I'll see what actually comes out. I'm not gonna prematurely say, okay, they got this. They're gonna show that fight, because from what we've seen for the past 4 years, they are kumbaya, my fucking lord. It's like the Unity candles. Like, I don't remember what Major Nelson like said something, and then someone's like, "That's offensive," and he apologized, and it wasn't even offensive. I'm like,
it wasn't offensive. It was ridiculous.
Why are you apologizing?
I don't know. I don't
like they have a beta male mentality, and I'm not feeling it.
I gotcha. Well, listen, we're gonna move right over to the Welsh gamer because he is a big Xbox supporter, but he will call them out on their S. What do you think, brother? What's your take on this tweet? Does it matter? Does it make a difference? Is it just rubbish? What do you think?
I think they need to stop. They need to stop pandering to people who are asking pretty obvious questions. Really, I mean, like Lucas said, I completely agree. I'm not any more or less excited than I was for last year's E3 or the year before that. I enjoy watching E3. I enjoy seeing what not just Xbox, but just the gaming, realm in general has to bring to the forefront. But this is the thing, right? I've always been an advocate for Xbox, always defended it when I felt necessary, always bigged it up when I felt necessary. And I, for one, have never been each to their own, but I have never been disappointed with an E3 so far. But with all the stigma, all the crap that Xbox has gotten, and rightly so in some regards, with still games being cancelled, Crackdown 3 still not even out yet. They've had to bite the bullet on a few things and accept that they've been wrong. But what I want to see, and I never thought these words would ever come out of my mouth, but it's the truth. We need to see new IPs, plain and simple.
Yeah.
We need to see. Again, I'm contradicting myself because if you'd have asked me this about 3-4 weeks ago, I'd have said, "Oh no, they're fine, they're doing their thing." But I honestly do believe Xbox needs to show a roadmap. Now, I'm not on about show games that aren't going to come out for another decade, but they need to show at least they just need to show some kind of roadmap, point us in a direction, get a little bit of hype going. They need to just show that they're actually in it to win it. Like Lucas said, this kumbaya, my lord, shit. It's true though. I mean, I've always said, Phil, you're the man. So respectful, so nice, but at the same time, I'm starting to, as an Xbox fan, get a little bit tired of seeing the hand holding, and I want to see more clenched fists.
Yeah. You're in a third place. You got to do something to dig yourself out of last place. It's not okay. You see, that's the problem with this world. Participation trophies ruined people's drive. You shouldn't just be okay with, we're in the black and making money, but our fans are miserable. I'm right there with you. I don't think that is a good mentality, and I think that not striving to be the best, it really sends out a negative attitude.
I mean, the only thing I am excited. Oh, sorry, Luke. Sorry, Luke.
No, bro, go ahead.
I was just going to say the one thing I am genuinely excited about, and Aaron Greenberg's tweet hasn't helped it along. I was thinking this before his tweet, but all the effort and all the passion and all of their blood, sweat, and tears went into the Xbox One X last year. So they've got the hardware where they want it, and the hardware is very capable. Now I see no excuse for the software not to come to the forefront in full force like they did with the hardware. So that's where I'm excited. Now that they've done the X is out there, we have the most powerful console, it's all there, blah, blah, blah. Now I want to see games. And I don't mean Halo, Gears, Forza, because we know they're coming and I'm excited for them too, but I want to see some brand new blockbuster titles that can sit up there pretty with your Gears, Halo, and Forza.
Yes,
that's all I have to say.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Listen, Foxy, I see you're chomping at the bit to jump in here.
Yeah, a little bit.
Let's hear what you have to say, because I know that you love playing on your Xbox. There's no doubt about it.
Hell yeah. And I'm looking forward to seeing E3 just like everybody else, but it's not the end-all be-all for me. I'm looking forward to seeing new things, or maybe even old things coming back in a new way. So obviously, I always want to see what they have up their sleeves. But the way the community talks about it, sometimes it does bother me when people talk about E3 sometimes. This tweet, I'm not going to lie, when I saw it, I was like, oh, hell yeah, awesome, bring it. But then I started thinking about it a little bit more, and I was like, well, sometimes they put their foot in their mouth, and I don't like when, you're talking a little bit too much, maybe don't say anything if you're just saying that to hype the fan base, or maybe get a little bit of talk going. Only say that if you mean it, right? So only.
Right.
Yeah, you better have something behind it, because if I see E3 and it's just like it's good, but it's it's not anything special, it's nothing groundbreaking, then yeah, he's just talking to talk at this point. And so yeah, it does bother me sometimes when they tweet out too much. Like, I understand that people love and like communicating and everything, which is cool, but when they say too much, and then next thing you know, they're bringing us games going to Dave and Buster's instead of games that we want on the system. Well, then you're not listening to us. You're just talking to talk. Look, I gotta say what it is, and it is something that I'm looking forward to, but I don't want no fluff and fake BS in front of something that might end up just being okay or pretty good.
Yeah, no, that makes perfect sense. Jay, what's your take? Because I know that you publicly said that you're an Xbox guy first. Does that tweet excite you, or you're like, okay, well, I'll wait to E3?
Well, the funny thing is, being the last person to answer this question, almost everything that I've wanted to speak about has probably already been addressed. But if I was to put this in kind of like a music analogy, and believe me, I'm not the mooch of music or anything like that, but if you talk to a band who's just releasing the newest album, and the media says, what is your favorite album up to this point? The band always says, well, it's the latest album is my favorite album. And we all know that's never really the case, but it's almost the same situation where, they're talking to Aaron Greenburg, and they're saying, how are things going to be this year? And he's saying they're going to come out with their, with fists swinging, and don't they say that every year? And me, much like the Welsh gamer, I've never been really disappointed with an E3. I go to watch what's coming up, and sure, not everything appears that year, but I'm just there to see new stuff. And as being primarily an Xbox gamer, I just want them to come out and blow my socks off and show us something. Show us why they were number one, and show us how they're going to become number one again.
Nice. That's well said, dude. Very well said.
That's exactly what I need. I just need them to get their own confidence back.
Absolutely.
That's fantastic. Well, listen, we're going to move on to the next topic. And I think that this is a good one, simply because I'm pretty sure everyone has at least tried it. State of Decay 2. I want to know what the impressions from the panel are. I'm just under 15 hours. I've just started my third community. It happens to be my favorite trio of people. They're all female, my characters. I picked that on specifically on purpose. And I did a tweet yesterday. One of them, if you look at her bio, it says Halo Champion, and her shooting.
Yeah, I saw that tweet you sent out.
And her shooting is like almost maxed out, like right out of the gate. So I said, awesome. I said, you see, playing video games can help you in an apocalypse. So
that's cool.
I want to see my Storm Cellar.
I wanted. What do you call? Who's played it on the panel? Everybody?
Oh yes.
Yeah, all right. Well, I think people know that I've played it.
Yes. I'm gonna get to you, Luca, because that was something else. But
man.
Jay,
maybe I'll chime in, because I haven't touched it at all, actually.
Okay.
And
what?
Yeah. Oh my goodness, how could you? I thought you were an Xbox fan.
Good job.
But yeah, okay, so this game in particular, it's something I was looking forward to playing with my brother. So for me, the co-op aspect was going to be the highlight.
Yes.
And obviously hearing all this backlash and basically hearing the truth of the matter when it comes to the co-op, it has deterred me from playing the game. Now, that didn't stop my brother. It's his favorite game, so he's played it every day by himself, and he's enjoying it. But I'm afraid that as soon as I jump in there with him, his game's just going to break and everything. It's just going to get messed up and glitchy. And so I'm kind of like, I'm hesitant about it. And I'm not happy that they haven't updated anything yet, or talk to anybody about what's going on.
There was a big patch because I know that there was a lot of complaints by the reviewers of zombies falling from the sky, and that was, I mean, there was a massive day one patch.
Wasn't that last year's E3 Sony E3 conference?
Maybe,
oh, man.
quite possibly.
Oh man,
Jay, have you tried it yet?
So I only had an opportunity to try it last night. I've just been crazy busy, and I think I told you about my kids went on a trip, so I was up really, really early the day before. I had to get up at like 4 a.m. to take them to the airport. So that evening when I got home, I was planning on playing, but I was so exhausted I just fell asleep. So last night I had a chance to plop it in. I chose my 2 characters. I think it was a brother and a sister, and I think I have to adjust the gamma on my television because, you know, much like what Crap and Mooch were saying, that it was really, really dark.
It is dark.
I was having a hard time finding my way around, and but you know, I was killing some zombies. I was changing weapons. I was finding loot. I was having fun for what I did. But today I'm planning on putting in quite a few more hours, and but I'll give you a better impression probably in a day or 2.
Okay, cool, excellent. Welsh, what have you played it?
Oh yeah. I know I was just going in on Xbox a moment ago with the last topic, but State of Decay 2 is incredible. I mean, like it's probably not going to be for everyone, but then what game is? But what a phenomenal game. I mean, I'm a huge fan of the first one. Absolutely played the shit out of the first one. So this one, if you're a fan of the first game, this one is everything the first game was, but on steroids. Bigger, better. Sorry to hear, Foxfire, that you were having problems with multiplayer, but I've enjoyed multiplayer. I can imagine this glitchy for some, but I haven't suffered with any glitching. Not that I've played a lot of it, though, I will admit. I've played mainly just single player, base building, recruiting, slaying zombies. I'm having a blast. I'm having an absolute blast. My game of the year, in my opinion. I mean, that's saying a lot because Red Dead 2 is coming out this year, and I'm a huge Red Dead fan. My mind might change, but until that day comes, I can confidently say I think this is going to be my game of the year. I love it.
All right. Well, listen. You know what? I want to bring up, because Luke, I want to get to you because I think your view is slightly different, and you did a little bit of a rant on that. I want to discuss that, but I just wanted to, you know what? I'm going to go to Luca first. I'll bring my question up at the end. Luca, I know that you've had some issues. It's been more frustrating for you than some other people. What is your like? If you were to be reviewing the game, what would you be scoring it because of your experience?
A 6.
Okay, all right, that's completely fair. What is it about the game that annoyed you that you may not go back, or you just you're like, okay, it's rubbish. Dark Souls is out. Bye.
Listen, my biggest thing is, right, I have an issue with any game that comes out and some people experience bugs or are having a hard time with it. Now, take for instance, I'll use Mass Effect Andromeda as an example. I played that game. I did not experience any bugs, all right? But that doesn't take away the fact that a lot of people did. And even though I was enjoying my experience with it and I didn't experience any bugs, that doesn't mean that other people had the same experience that I did. I'm one of the people who've played it, and my experience with it has varied pretty drastically depending on the people I'm with, right? I played it with All Day. I played with Mooch, and I played it with Crap, and I played it with Dealer. Now, with All Day, Mooch, and Crap, I had issues, a lot of issues, especially when we were in Crappy's world. Like, my game crashed twice. I got stuck
it's called Crappy's World, so
exactly.
I think that's pretty obvious what's going to happen.
Game crashed twice. I got stuck in the wall. I couldn't get out of the door. There's a lot of BS, you know? So I was pretty annoyed about that. I went on a huge tirade, and not even just because the game was a glitchy mess, but because there were some Xbox fans who didn't even play the game yet, because I played it early, right? I got the Ultimate Editions.
Right.
And I played it early, and they were like, well, I mean, some games get bugs. It's not a big deal. Whatever.
We've been conditioned to accept that, and that in itself, I think, is wrong.
Yeah, it bothers me the fact that we're waiting for day one patches, and we're like, yeah, it's a hot mess, but yeah, when they update it, this is gonna be great, right? I guess, right? Yeah, that's pretty bad.
There are people who are like, oh, it's not that bad. I didn't experience any bugs. You don't know what you're talking about. I'm like, oh, I have video evidence if you want to go look. I mean, okay, Luca, but like, I mean, come on, come on. All games come with bugs, blah blah. Like, shut up, God.
I'm gonna say something that may aggravate some Xbox fans, and I don't think I have to say it again that it's my preferred console. I didn't experience any bugs playing God of War, and I put 75 hours into that game, and I'm still playing. So I understand that Sony Santa Monica is big time AAA. I understand Undead Labs are a AA team. I think that they have maybe 55 people on that staff.
With the backing from Xbox.
Yes.
Now these Xbox fans always want to go on and on and on about how much money Xbox has, how much money Microsoft is making.
Bucks.
And
Absolutely.
I'm just like, that's nice and all, but they still need to like fix these games. Like you can't. Okay, on one hand, you can't be like, Microsoft is making so much money. Sony is dirt poor. They're about to go bankrupt, blah, blah, blah. And then on the other hand, say, I mean, I know the game is backed by Microsoft, but it's like a small indie team. Like, calm down, relax, give it a shot. Like, listen, I also had someone, oh my God, like this irritated me so badly, where someone was actually like, I mean, it's your fault that you spent $50 on the game.
Oh boy.
What? I was livid when I heard that. I'm like, you cannot be serious right now. Like, it's BS to me. But you know what? I play with Dealer, and that was the experience where it was
I know he's
time.
been tweeting about it. He did a video, and he's loving it. I know he has to have at least 40, 50 hours into that game already. I see him talking about it all the time.
Yeah, I had a good time with Dealer. I didn't experience any bugs. Me and him were talking. He was talking me through it, and he was explaining to me certain things. I was like, okay, this is fun. I could have fun with this. But the thing of it is that that's not always going to be my experience, and I don't think it's fair that I have to pick and choose which of my friends I get to play with, because some of my friends like have I don't know what the issue is exactly, but we just have a bad time and the game doesn't work. It's just annoying to me. And then I have
maybe the connection is not compatible, but you shouldn't suffer for that experience.
Exactly. And then I have a couple of clowns saying, "Whoa, how could she said that the game was trash, but she also said she had a good time with it." And I'm like, the game's trash because of the bugs. That's the only reason. Well, Luca, you need to change you don't know what the definition of trash is. It's called hyperbole.
Yes, it you got to remember that it's the old saying, some person's trash is some other person's treasure, right?
Like,
so
it aggravates me that people really listen. Leave me alone. Just leave me alone. Not all opinions are the same. Your opinion is not fact. Just because I have a different opinion than you doesn't mean I'm automatically right or you're automatically wrong, or I'm automatically wrong, you're automatically right. It's called opinions. Opinions are not fact. We've all had different experiences with the game. Just leave me alone. All right.
Right. Yes.
One of my favorite games from last generation was Dead Island. Okay. Dead Island,
mess, right?
Dead Island was notorious.
Yes.
For bugs and game breaking shit happening in that game. I loved that game. The bugs didn't bother me.
Right. And again, it just goes to show you that it doesn't matter. It's really in the eye of the beholder of that game.
Exactly. And then, Dead Island moved over to was it Dying Light? And Dying Light had a few bugs, not as many, of course. It was much more polished. But it just goes to show that if a game gives you a bad impression in the first place, it's going to resonate with you, and that's going to carry with you to other games. But the zombie genre is something that I love. I'm very much like Mooch in that regard, where I'll play anything with a zombie in it. And
I'm a big fan.
9 times out of 10, I will love it. The only game that I can say this gen that with the zombies in it that I did not finish was Dead Rising 4 DLC. Now, I like Dead Rising 4. It wasn't as good as 3. I enjoyed it, but I didn't finish the DLC. That was the only thing I can say that I didn't finish. But, games with bugs aren't always bad. And Something else I wanted to bring up, and sorry, and I didn't mean to cut you out of the conversation, Luca, but can somebody name me a AA game that Sony has put out in the last year?
They have not.
Exactly.
They have not.
There's the problem, right? Microsoft is resorting to too many AA's.
Yes.
Now we've got our Sea of Thieves. Now we've got our we've got this game, State of Decay 2. And if Crackdown 3 comes out and it doesn't blow our faces off, there's trouble.
Yeah, sure. There's no doubt about it. There's but you know what? That's let's
Recall's another one.
Yeah, I mean we've had quite a few AA games, unfortunately, and even though I happen to like them, I liked Recore a lot. I really did. I played the hell out of that game, and I do go out of my way to support Microsoft's first party by buying their games. I've purchased all of them. The only one that I tweeted about this. I bought State of Decay 2, the Ultimate Edition. We sent out a tweet. I was so excited that I got my shipping confirmation, and by the time it got here, everything was pretty much, buggy, and it was all these, opinions and reviews. I actually returned it. And I'm playing it on. Yeah, I'm playing it on Game Pass. You know what?
Super Lucky Tale, another one. Not a bad game, but another
great game, but AA. Yes, yeah, just barely a AA.
Yeah, Super Lucky Tale is really nice. It has a couple bugs here and there, which they've updated. But that also reminds me of Knack. Knack 2 on the PlayStation.
Yeah, Knack was horrendous. That was a terrible game. That was absolutely terrible. But listen, we're going to stay in the zombie genre because it's one of my favorites, and I want to move on to Days Gone for a couple of reasons. One, I watch. I don't know if anyone on the panel, anyone in the chat saw the Game Informer demo of the game where they did a couple of videos where the demo was about an hour. I thought it was so fantastic that I'm really, really looking forward to it. And obviously they had that article from Eurogamer that basically the guy that was wrote the article was basically calling it a large steaming pile of what. And I was a little taken aback by that because Eurogamer, I'm sorry to say, they like to do fluff pieces for clicks, and I've read their work, and I'm not a big fan of them whatsoever. So I obviously, took what he said with a grain of salt. But Jay, being that you're like a big zombie fan, is Days Gone a day one buy when this comes out for you?
If I owned a PlayStation, yes.
Well, there you go. Now this is actually. I'm glad you said that. Because it has that Sony look, which I happen to like. A lot of people don't like it. Everything looks the same. It's cookie cutter. I happen to like that realistic, adult-themed, gritty graphics kind of a thing, right?
Third-person view over the shoulder stuff?
Yes, yes. That's my favorite. Yeah. So would you go out and buy a PlayStation 4 to play this game?
If I was to go out and buy a PlayStation, it probably would have been for God of War 4.
Okay.
And it's just not in the cards. Like to pay for, like in Canada, to get a Slim is $400.
That's ridiculous.
And I can't justify spending $400 right now on a game or on a game console just to play a couple games. Like,
okay, it makes sense.
I don't know if anyone has watched my, and this is a shameless plug, playing Retro Renegades with Supersonic Station the other day. So at the end of the show, I happened to just be sifting through my game library, and I went to my ready to install list, and he wanted to see some of the games that I had, and he kept saying, "Oh, I wish I was game sharing with you." I had 375 games ready to install.
Whoa.
Okay. So and I know that's probably not as many as you have, Boom, because you buy probably a lot more than I do. But if I'm already investing that much money on my Xbox and the games for that, and I'm an older gamer. I'm married. I have children. I have responsibilities. I have car payments. I have mortgage payments. I have dogs that I have to pay for. Another game console is just not a priority, especially when I've invested this much in Xbox. My wife just wouldn't understand why I would need another game console. And believe me, happy wife, happy life.
Yes, that is the truth. That's truth.
That's the way it works. And
yeah, my wife is a big supporter as well. And you can't just keep take. You gotta. It's a team effort.
That's right. Like I was just saying to you, my kids are gone on a class trip. That cost me close to $6,000 just to send them on this class trip.
Wow.
The two of them. So the priorities go in other places.
Yes.
And I'm privileged enough that I can buy games when I want them, and not have to worry about breaking the bank and not being able to pay a bill here and there. But to go and buy for several different consoles, and not even to bring up the whole controller issue where I would probably want to use a different controller, because a lot of people know I play games with one hand and I play with the Xbox controller because it is a much easier controller to play with one hand. I've tried the PlayStation, and because of the symmetrical thumbsticks, it's very difficult to play.
Terrible.
Yeah. So there's just no justification right now. But I'm not saying never. Maybe down the road, who knows? Maybe I'll end up getting one and getting one of the cooler, more Xbox-looking controllers. I mean, that was another reason why I was even thinking about getting a Switch, because the Switch Pro controller is like an Xbox controller.
Yes, it is. Very close. Very close.
But the Switch is the same price as the PlayStation 4 Slim here in Canada, so I just can't justify it right now. But maybe in the future.
Luca, what about you? I know that you originally were a PlayStation person, and then you eventually moved on to Xbox, and that's become your place to play. But is Days Gone something that has you interested, or it's something that it's a pass for you?
I don't like zombie games.
Okay, well, that is as short and sweet as Craps, intros.
But yeah, I don't really care about zombie games. They don't really interest me. I saw the demo and I was like, oh, this looks kind of interesting. But it's like, especially, okay, spoilers for the demo or whatever, but they give you the chance to make a choice. And I like RPGs, right? I like choices in games, but the choice was completely useless. And the choice they made was completely useless. And I'm like, all right, so my choices aren't actually going to matter in this. No interest. I don't really care too much about the protagonist. He doesn't really interest me as a character from what I've seen so far. Maybe I'll see more. I wasn't that interested in God of War, and then they showed some more gameplay, and I was like, that looks amazing. So we'll have to see.
All right. Well, Lady Foxfire, what is your take? Are you do you have a PlayStation as well?
No, I mooched that from my brother, definitely.
Nice.
Whenever he's at work or hanging out with his friends, I'm like, yay, time to play PlayStation. And that's how I try God of War and Lost Legacy and stuff like that. Wipeout, I love those kind of games. Street Fighter, I love Street Fighter. But when it comes to zombie-based games or this game in particular, it looks really cool and everything, but I'm not into it. I did go out of my way and show it to my brother because he loves all the zombie games. Like I said, he's enjoying State of Decay and everything. So I showed it to him and he's like, hell yeah, I want to pick that up. So if anything, I'll try it through him. But yeah, it's not my type of game. It's not something that I'll go out of my way to, pick up. I just think it's kind of crazy the way it's going about this. This game's not coming out this year, but yeah, it's already getting shit on, and I don't agree with that aspect of it. You could say that about so many games that have like early access or anything on PC or a preview game, and they don't play well or they're clunky or something. And they're just not out yet, but yet they're getting criticized. If anything, maybe preview, because sometimes you do have to pay to access those games like PUBG. So if you want to complain about that because you paid for it, then of course. But yeah, I mean, this is kind of too early to call, in my opinion. I think they still got a while to go and develop and everything, because it is coming out next year or something, probably in the holiday.
Yeah, well, no, I don't know if they're going to wait that long. I don't know. Well, it's possible. You never know. I'm thinking maybe an early March release would be perfect for that. Very, very close to where they released God of War. They saw a lot of success. I mean, 3.1 million copies in 3 days. So that's a big deal.
Well, yeah, you're right. PlayStation does tend to release stuff in the beginning of the year. PlayStation does holiday stuff more often. So yeah. I could agree with that. But either way, the game's not ready. The game's not out yet. It did got shit on. So hopefully, if anything, they did listen to that and they'll get working and cracking on that real quick. But I feel like it did get dragged a lot, and I was just like, it's not a big deal. It's not coming out this year, so I don't care.
Well, I actually disagree, Foxy.
Okay. Cool.
And the reason I disagree is because if they put it out there, they put it out there to be criticized.
Yes, I agree.
Looked at so people could offer their opinions. And I think critique is good for games because it tells devs, hey, you know, fix your shit. Like this is
I agree with that part.
You know?
Yeah, definitely.
And like I said, I know you said that, okay, it's released early and they still have a long time to go before we actually see it. It's still an alpha, probably. But it's kind of like, wait until the game is presentable before putting it out there. You know, people are going to have a negative view of your game if you put it out and it's still you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's their own fault if it turns people off. If some people are like, okay, this looks like trash, I don't want to play this. You know what I mean? Because there's some people who will just take a look at a game and they don't know that it's just early release or early access view. They're judging it based off that first look. And it's, oh shit, I hit my thing. First impressions are everything. And this is not a good first impression for some people.
Right.
No, I understand. But then we do also have those 2 other times that they showed it at E3 and the other time before that where they showed it, I believe, at PlayStation. Their show. So like those looked good. Those are the videos that I showed my brother because those were the ones available at the time and he loved it. He was like, yeah, I'm buying that. I haven't showed him this video just yet because, now that he saw the videos that came out at E3 and stuff, he's just kind of like, cool, I'll wait until it comes out. He's not all about, hey, let me go read all these articles and everything like that. He just waits until a game comes out most of the time. And then he'll wait also for me to like show him all the cool trailers that came out at E3 or whatever the case may be. So yeah, only like a handful of people are going to go out of their way because they might be really looking forward to this and they don't go check it out and they'll be disappointed. But then you have the majority that are just kind of like, yeah, well, I saw it at E3, so I'm just going to wait until whenever that's ready, you know?
Yeah. Well, what is your?
Because when I was a casual, right, I was subscribed to IGN and a few other places.
Ooh.
Ew.
And like I said, when I was a casual, please.
No, I'm kidding.
I'm
just teasing.
And then if they, I like to see, look, a new game. So I would go and watch their new videos that they would put up regarding new games, even if I didn't know a whole lot about it. And as someone who did watch E3, I'd be kind of like, why does this look so trash compared to the E3 trailer? Like I would be kind of skeptical about that.
Yeah.
Especially since this is like a newer look at the game. But whatever.
That's okay. Welch, what is your take on this? I mean, do you have a PlayStation 4 or you're just straight up Xbox?
I am Xbox, but not because I don't like PlayStation or anything. I'm just kind of, that's what I mean. I've kind of taken a bit of everyone's like comments here. Like J-Dubs, I'm with him on, like time and money is of the essence. And frankly, when I have a little of both of those things, I'll put it into Xbox. I don't really have any time for anything else, really, even if I wanted to. But on the topic of Days Gone being ragged on, I partially agree with Lady Foxfire and Luca. Because
both sides.
Like I said, I'm just taking snippets. I can't help it. But
it's understandable. It's okay.
But like you were saying, like that you don't agree with them ragging on it, and I completely agree. I completely agree. I think ragging on something that's in that early stages is not fair. But then I also agree with Luca that if something is to be put out into the public eye, being critiqued, I think, is fine. Constructive criticism is absolutely fine, but when you've got these bigger outlets, like what was it? What was it? Boom. Game Informer.
Eurogamer.
Eurogamer.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Right. Like absolutely. They should know better. They're a big name, like outlet and everything. They shouldn't be ragging on it. Maybe an article giving it its props in areas, constructive criticism in other areas. Mm-hmm. When it's this early, it doesn't deserve to be completely ragged on. because the people who do will eat their words when the game comes out fully polished and it looks phenomenal.
Yeah.
Which it more than likely it will. A similar thing happened. Was it? Oh, no, it would have been last year when Crackdown 3 they released some early footage, and it got absolutely slated. And absolutely, like, honestly, people taking the mick out of graphics, saying it's this, it's that.
Yeah.
And I was just like, wow. I mean, like, I think they, like, in my head, like, I think they only released it just to give us an idea of where they are in the development, that what the game mechanics were doing. I don't think they were showcasing it as, wow, look at this masterpiece. But people took it upon themselves to get real deep and hurt and hateful towards it, and it could have upset a lot of people, especially the people developing it. So I think same principle applies here. I think a game like Days Gone, or any game for that matter, I think the developers have the right to showcase it even in very early stages. And then I agree with Luca when she says that it should be critiqued, but I think there's a big difference between constructive criticism and straight up just ragging on something.
Yeah, I definitely agree. Well, listen, we're gonna move on to the next topic now. This particular topic, I'm gonna go right to Foxy because it is, of course, Battlefield 5 and the reveal that happened.
Oh my God!
Yes, I know that you are a huge Battlefield fan. Loved your unboxing of the Battlefield 1 Collector's Edition, which, thanks to you, I ordered and is sitting in storage because for $13,
that was an amazing deal, wasn't it?
Ridiculous. So, what got you excited about Battlefield 5, and were you slightly disappointed that we went back to boots on the ground in World War II? Because if you remember, right before this release, a week prior, there was some, scuttlebutt about it possibly being modern, and then we finally found out that it was boots on the ground. I mean, are you still excited for the game?
Okay, so, wow, yeah, definitely agree with you on that stuff because, I was that person who was hoping for Modern Warfare again because I did miss playing Battlefield 3 and 4, which were modern, and I really wanted that because I just finished playing COD, and that was World War II.
Mm-hmm.
So as soon as I started hearing rumblings of World War II for Battlefield, I was like, oh, man, okay. But I wasn't expecting anything out of the reveal. I was just kind of like, well, let's see, because it is Battlefield, I usually pick all of them up except for Hardline, which I ignored. So yeah, as soon as I saw the trailer, or actually when I started hearing them talking about it, describing things, talking about how there's no premium pass and stuff, I was like, okay, cool. That's helping. You're getting my interest. And as soon as I saw the trailer, I was blown away because it looks so awesome. Because it looks like it's gonna play differently. They're gonna add a lot of stuff here and there. And just the way they made it looks nothing like what I've just been playing on COD. It looks like so much more action, so much more craziness. And that's the thing I do love about Battlefield is when they have all that craziness going on. And there's another thing that I saw Mooch kept pointing out to me, and Salty, we're on Xbox Nation, saying that this is like a DLC to 1, and I'm like, no, I don't agree with that at all, because at first, when they were talking about it and they were describing and showing images on the screen, I was like, oh no, this is going to feel like Battlefield 1, but with World War II weapons. But the way that I saw the cinematic trailer and a little bit of what seems like the gameplay, I know there's a debate or whatever going on with that, it doesn't look like that at all. It looks so much more. And right after I watched that, I just started playing Battlefield 1 again, just hoping and wishing that I had the new one already. It looks awesome. It looks badass, and I just can't wait. And I love a lot of the details they let you do with your character and stuff like that too. So I'm looking forward to it, definitely.
Okay, cool. Well, listen, I know you're a big fan, and if you're excited, people should just wait and just, listen.
Yeah, I definitely want to see more E3. Definitely, I understand if somebody checks it out and they're like, yeah, it looks cool. It looks like an awesome cinematic trailer, because that was the whole point of them putting this trailer out, is so you can get excited about all the action going on screen, right? It's supposed to look like a movie, and everybody else is like, well, I'll wait and see some more gameplay, because that's what E3 is for. We want to see some gameplay. How is this going to look more when you're playing it, instead of just a movie that they choreographed together for you,
Yeah,
so.
No, that makes sense. J-Dubs, what is your take on the Battlefield 5 reveal? Did you actually see it?
Yeah, I watched it actually after I heard all the hype coming through Twitter about it, and
You
there's
saw my 15 tweets.
and believe it or not, it was very mixed, like 50-50. A lot of people loved it, a lot of people thought it was trash. I've never been a huge Battlefield player. I've never even been a huge COD player, so those types of games don't really interest me all that much because I don't get a lot of time to do a lot of multiplayer. But if the campaign's good, I'll more than likely play it. And if it's on EA Access, I usually wait for that stuff to go on EA Access. And then
yeah, listen, if you pay for EA Access, which is one of the best deals in gaming, for $30 a year, and that they everything comes to the vault eventually. So
that's right.
Yeah,
that's
absolutely.
Right. And plus, you get the free days of play before it launches.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll end up playing it that way. And if I really like it, I'll end up buying it. But those games are really for people that want to play the campaign for usually 4 to 5 hours and then play multiplayer. And I don't get a lot of time to do a lot of multiplayer. So
it's a cool thing that they're adding the co-op, so you can play with your friends if you want to do that.
Yeah, well, I like that. Yeah, the four player
awesome.
Co-op that they're adding is literally a whole other game. And it's you're not it's you don't have unlimited lives, you're limited ammo. It's like a survival game, kind of in a first person perspective, which I think is something new that the series needed, and it gives you the ability to play with your friends and really depend on your friends to back you up, trying to beat this, because if you fail, you fail and you start from the beginning. It's almost
they
like
had co-op on Battlefield 3, and it was like smaller missions, and it was only two-player co-op from what I remember. So this was just going to be bigger and longer, like campaign portions for you to try. And I think you can even use your custom character that you like messed with on there as well.
Yeah, well, there's a lot of really cool features. Welsh Gamer, I don't know, are you a Call of Duty guy or are you a Battlefield person?
Right. So are we talking about? We are talking about Battlefield 5 now. Or
yes.
We're talking about Battlefield in general.
Well, we're talking about Battlefield 5 so much so because the reveal happened this week. I happen to really think it was. It made me excited for the game. Is it a day one buy for you? Or you're going to kind of maybe you're lukewarm to it because it's World War II again.
Right. Okay. People are going to be like, Welsh Gamer's a nut job, probably. Anyway, but like. Right, first thing you need to know about me, right? And if any of you followed my channel or even like followed me on Twitter, or if you know me personally, I am a World War II fanboy.
Okay, excellent.
Forget gaming for a second. Books, movies, TV series.
Oh wow!
Like my favorite TV series to date in life, forever. It's in my blood now. I might as well have it tattooed on my forehead. Band of Brothers, banging. But more to the point I'm trying to make is I love an authentic World War II shooter, authentic, historically accurate. I love all of that shit. So Call of Duty, answer to your question, is a pile of shit now. I fucking hate Call of Duty. But Call of Duty World War II piqued my interest because it was World War II. It's still dog shit in a lot of ways. It's hardly accurate and authentic, but it's the closest thing we've had to a first-person World War II shooter in a long time. So I had to buy it, like, even though I'm not sure if I like it or not. But Battlefield 1 was probably my main entry into the Battlefield series, and I loved that game. Not only did it bring the chaos of war and the realism, but it was so authentic and with the older weapons. I love that game. Absolutely love it. So when they said that Battlefield 5 was going to be World War II, well, you can understand. You can.
I can only imagine.
It certainly caught my attention, and I was waiting for that trailer. But I was watching Mixer. I was about an hour early. I was watching this guy chatting away. I was like, "Mate, get to the freaking trailer. I want to see this."
Yeah, they really dragged out that presentation.
Honestly, tell me about it. I nearly
felt like forever.
But I nearly found out where their address was so I can go give them a clip. But literally, but honestly, they finally shown the trailer, and I was bitterly disappointed.
Okay, Luca, I'm always interested to hear what you have to say because you never know which Luca you're going to get. You're going to get the Luca that's like, meh, and you're going to get the Luca that has something that's fire in her belly. What is your take on the Battlefield 5 reveal? Are you a Battlefield player? Do you care about World War II, or are you just gonna skip it?
Well, obviously, I hate it because there's a woman on the cover.
Oh yes, that's horrible.
Oh my
horrible.
god.
I didn't play. I've never played any of the Battlefield games. I'm not really a shooter person. I actually didn't start getting into shooters until last year. So
Okay.
it looks fine. I'm interested to see gameplay because that was definitely not gameplay.
Okay, yeah, no, that's probably a movie or a short or just made for the reveal. You probably won't even see that in the finished product.
Yeah, but it looks good. It looks like it'll be fun. I don't really have any feelings about it, to be perfectly honest. You know what? I do have feelings about it. I think the name is stupid. I thought the name, no, I thought Battlefield 1 was a stupid name. So they went from Battlefield 1 to Battlefield 5. It irritates me just because it doesn't make any sense for me.
Yeah, it's definitely, the numbers are out of order for sure.
Yeah.
There's no
Xbox 360 to Xbox One. Losers.
Yeah.
I mean, they couldn't name it the Xbox 720. Thank God they didn't name it that. That would have been a massive, colossal L.
What do you mean? It would have been accurate.
Someone in marketing probably thought that. I'm going to be honest with you.
Like this, babe.
Well, listen, you can't talk about first-person shooters without mentioning Call of Duty, which is the next topic. And I see Mooch in the chat, and I know he's a big Call of Duty fan.
No, I guess I'll leave.
I'm going to have to disappoint him because Call of Duty Black Ops 4 has been confirmed that it's not going to have a single-player campaign. So if you follow me on Twitter, I have been extremely vocal about this. No single-player campaign means no sale for BoomStick. And as a matter of fact, I did a video yesterday that I put up on my channel, shameless plug, that I wouldn't buy Call of Duty Black Ops 4 for a nickel, and that is the absolute truth. Single-player campaign has always been the staple in any Call of Duty. It has always been a Michael Bay-esque kind of presentation, which I really liked, even if it was following someone and then getting killed, and then you get that screen where they caught a president, like Mooch is always saying. But okay, obviously I'm not buying it. I could care less about the zombies mode. I think it's just going to be another zombies mode. The battle royale type of deal, I could care less. And the multiplayer, you're basically playing as a superhero, and I think they're trying to be too much like Overwatch, which, in my opinion, has completely changed the game from what we had. Even if it was Modern Warfare to Black Ops, to me the game is ruined. Who is buying it on this panel? You think it looks fun, Luca?
Yeah, but I'm not really a Call of Duty person, so I didn't really play any of the other ones.
But if this was more like an Overwatch type of,
first of all, don't talk to me about Overwatch because I don't.
Okay, then there you go. If it's like Overwatch, it's no sale for this
I'm hoping I can get it for free.
Yes.
So we'll see.
Oh, like the last one you got?
I got the last one.
You didn't play with me yet? Oh, okay.
Babe, where have you been?
No, it's fine.
You never play with me.
Excuse me, I played Halo a couple
You
weeks
played
ago,
Halo
but
with me once after I was like, "Oh, babe, do you want to play?" After a month of asking me if you.
How long have I been asking you to play Gears? Look, we're not getting into this. Sorry, guys.
Listen, we are going to get into this. I've been waiting for you to play Gears. You've been AWOL. Where have you been?
Wow, I'm gonna text you right now. Hold on, guys.
Text me, but where have you been? I'm waiting for you.
I'll play some Gears with you. I love Gears.
All right, cool. I'll see you online later, bro.
He might have been talking to me. He might have been talking to me, bro.
No, well, we know you like World War II shooters, but does Black Ops show up on your radar this fall, or it's a pass because they basically took out the single player campaign?
First question: is it boots on the ground?
No,
right,
it's boots in the air flying like Superman.
Nah, I'm out.
You're basically playing as Iron Man as a soldier, pretty much.
I'm out. No, that's me. Sorry, that's all I got. All I will say is, for people who are buying it, if it's got no single player, it can't be any more than $30. Otherwise, that's an absolute rip-off. That's all I got to say. No, I'm out. That's not me. I'm not playing that shit.
Oh, excellent. J Dubs, I know that you do play some some military games. Is this something that would be up your alley, or no single player means? Because we're both older guys, and we we're old school. So I think a game without a single player campaign is almost always a no buy for me. Titanfall was the only exception.
Well, I was built to say that Titanfall 1 was probably one of my favorite games.
Yes.
Even though it didn't have a campaign.
Yep.
And I think I regened 15, 20 times in that game. That's how much I played it.
Wow.
Really, really enjoyed that game. But I knew going into it that it wasn't going to have one. So I really wasn't all that disappointed. But when it comes to Call of Duty and the same with Battlefield, I usually play those games for the campaigns. The last Call of Duty I bought was Advanced, I believe. I think I finished that campaign, and I finished Ghost. But it's not a game that I keep on my radar. It's not something that I look forward to playing every time. The last couple I didn't buy. Yeah, no, I'm probably gonna pass on it.
Okay, yeah, well, that makes sense. I mean, listen, it's certainly not going to be for everyone. Foxy, in your wheelhouse, or it's a pass for you?
Oh my goodness, they really messed up. Okay, right after they just made well, I'm not gonna say great, but really good game because I do still play World War II.
Okay.
I enjoy it. And they're gonna do this? Really? They're gonna just drop the ball and give me something else. It's not what I want. I know a lot of people are disappointed with the lack of campaign, which, yes, in the past, Call of Duty has had some awesome campaigns with some awesome characters. I don't like all of them, but I do like some of them. So the fact that they took the campaign out didn't bother me too much. So I was looking forward to seeing this multiplayer, especially since it was supposedly boots on the ground again. And now it's kind of weird though, because that doesn't matter. They still got all these new abilities. They got these new characters to pick from. Like you pick from like 8 characters, and then they do different things. They got grappling hook in there and everything. I'm just kind of like, what? This is not Call of Duty. This is not the multiplayer that I wanted. So it doesn't look interesting at all to me. I'm not gonna pick this one up. I hardly care about zombies. Yeah, I play it here and there, but once in a blue moon. And then they're adding Blackout, which I feel like they're gonna focus more on Blackout, which is their battle royale, more than anything. And I don't like battle royale games. I've tried PUBG, I tried Fortnite. I'm not into those games. So the fact that they're touting this Blackout and they're gonna show more of that at E3, I'm just kind of like, nah, not for me. You guys lost me. I'll stay back in World War II, and if I get bored of COD, then I'll just wait for Battlefield, because that one looks like it's going to be very promising, and I just love the Battlefield overall, the gameplay, giant maps, and vehicles and everything.
Okay, well, that makes perfect sense. Listen, it's not for everyone. If you are okay with and my biggest complaint with this scenario that Activision and Treyarch have put forth for us as gamers is this. Last year, you spent $65.01 after tax, and you got gigantic multiplayer, and you also got your very, very powerful and well-told single-player campaign with amazing, big-time moments. This year, for the same $60, you're getting Blackout, which is a PUBG ripoff at this point. You're getting Zombies, which is pretty much now the standard fare for any
they have that everywhere nowadays.
And you're getting this new 5v5 kind of a thing. I personally think that, again, I don't tell people how to spend their money. I would never tell someone not to get it. Right. It's you're the consumer. You spend your $65.01 how you want to spend it. I personally would not pick up this game. I you know what? Even if it was gifted to me, I would probably never play it because I don't like that 5v5.
Well, if it gets gifted to you, can you give it to me?
I would turn around and give it to you, Luca. Yes, I would.
Oh, okay.
And now that's taped on the air, so you're gonna hold me to it.
Okay, sounds good.
All right, listen. Again, this popped up yesterday. It got me so excited that I changed my Twitter picture this morning to the lit up helmet of Titanfall, the Titanfall pilot from Titanfall. And a rumor dropped where today Titanfall 3 was going to have a tease of release, which I think is very exciting because I am a ridiculous huge Titanfall fan. I mean, I know Jay was just saying how big of a fan he was on 1. I happen to love 1. I love 2. I think it is a fantastic game. I'm an older gamer, so I grew up watching Robotech. A lot of people may not know what that is.
I know what that is.
Yeah, you know what that is. Vacross. A lot of people don't know what that is.
Yeah.
I grew up watching the Transformers in the 80s, so the idea of jumping into a giant mech and being able to, wreck the world in front of you always seemed like incredible. Like I couldn't believe when Titanfall came out. So Titanfall 3 possible leak today. Is anyone on this? I'll go right to Jay because I know what he's gonna say. But what I want to ask the panel is everyone excited? No one cares. Jay, what do you think?
Oh, well, if the campaign is anywhere as good as it was in number 2, it'll be a day 1 buy for me. If the multiplayer is anywhere as good as 1, it's a day 1 buy for me. I don't care. Like both, like they need to combine the multiplayer with the campaign. We need them. Sorry, let me say that again. They need to combine the multiplayer from 1 with the campaign from 2, and that would make the perfect 3, in my opinion. You know what else would be awesome? Jumping in a mech and it turning into a jet.
Oh yeah, that would be kind of dope.
Shit.
That would be dope. I mean, I will. I'm gonna back you up on this because I want to say that I probably between both games want to say I maybe put about 1,000 hours into it, maybe more, maybe closer to 1,500 hours. I absolutely adored them. I maxed out the level in 1. I got to level 50. I regened all those times. Yeah. I regened, I think, 12 times.
Yeah.
On the 2nd. I absolutely love it. But you see, one of my biggest complaints for 2 was I didn't like the preset mechs. Like I loved the way that you were able to pick a mech and add all these different weapons and constantly change them. And it really changed up the gameplay for you as a person. I thought it was very limiting picking a particular mech, and he was just the way he was. And you can change, a few things, but it seemed like the customizability was removed. But you're right. Take the online of 1, take the single player of 2, merge them together, perfect 3. Lady Foxfire, are you into Titanfall or you don't care?
Believe it or not, yeah, I really like Titanfall. I've been there day 1. Nice. I actually played the first one on the 360 a little bit. Actually, all the way until I read up, and then I got the Xbox One, and I found out my information didn't transfer, but I still played it anyway, and enjoyed it just the same. And then when 2 came out, I was so disappointed with the beta, so I waited a while until I got the game, part 2, that is. Enjoyed the campaign, played a little bit of the multiplayer. So I'm with Jay, definitely. If they can get the campaign from 2 and the multiplayer from 1, put them together, that's perfect. So I'm looking forward to seeing what they have to show. Maybe in the future, trying out a beta or something to see how the game plays. Because I think the game is really fun and interesting. But yeah, I just kind of like wait and see a little bit. But I do like those Titanfall games though.
Yeah, and I waited for Titanfall 2 to go in the vault mainly because I heard about all of the issues with the multiplayer, and I'm glad.
Oh yeah, it was so slow.
It was slow. They took away the speed of the game for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. I don't know if Ash and Luca is listening because I know she's muted. But Luca, would you be interested in Titanfall 3?
Sir, are you implying that I don't pay attention during podcasts?
Well, I know I never said that. I was just making sure because you could have stepped away for a second. I didn't know. Were you a fan of Titanfall 1 and 2? Would you consider if you were, would you buy 3? Would you be excited for 3?
They would have to show me something interesting for 3. Be honest, I played Titanfall 2 a little bit of the multiplayer with Nukem.
Yes, he plays a lot of it. Jago also.
2 Bears, aka Blake, and with Chase. I played some with them, and it was a lot of fun, but Titanfall is never something that held my attention. Fun fact, one of the first few Xbox Nations I listened to back before I was in the community, they were talking about Titanfall 2 and how they changed things up and aren't as interested. They as in Mooch and She-Wolf in them. So
Okay. Welsh, what's your take, brother?
I loved Titanfall 1 for what it was. I thought the multiplayer was really good. Really, really good, actually. With the using the cloud and stuff with all the AI running around, I thought it was like something that hadn't been, at least like for me, I hadn't seen it before. I thought they did a good job with the first one. It got better in time as well. In terms of Titanfall 2, I only played the demo, whatever, the multiplayer demo, and I wasn't all that impressed. I feel like took a huge step backwards
Yes,
from
I agree.
Titanfall 1. Titanfall 1, the multiplayer was incredible. So I'm with J-Dubs. I haven't played the campaign on Titanfall 2. I've been told it's brilliant. I have got it downloaded on the backlog, so I will play it. So
yeah, the single player was amazing, dude. So good.
Yeah. Well, I'm taking your guys' words for it. So with that said, if they can produce another solid single player, vouched by you guys, and they can produce a multiplayer that is as good, if not just a bit better than the Titanfall 1 multiplayer, I might give it a shout. I might give it another chance because Titanfall 2's multiplayer didn't grab me. I only played the demo, but I wasn't prepared to pay full price for that game. The only reason I've got it now is because of the Vault, which I do intend to play the single player. But no, that's my stance. I'm kind of agreeing with all of you. Even though I haven't played the single player on Titanfall 2, I've played the multiplayer on the first one. And I loved it. So if they can do that again, I'd buy it just for the multiplayer, to be honest.
Okay, that's cool. Well, we're going to move on to the Nintendo topic part of the show. Like I said, I try to keep the topics interesting. Like I said earlier, I do really enjoy supporting all of the companies. And I think in doing so, I also need to support the entire community. So if you are a Nintendo fan, get ready because we got some good news. There was a leak of the because whether you know it or not, Smash Brothers is going to be the big game for Nintendo this E3 that they're going to be showing off. We already know from a reveal that they had that the two characters from Splatoon are going to be in there, and of course that's exciting because it's a Nintendo first party. But a roster leak happened early this week, and I got excited because, like I said, I'm an old school gamer, and these two particular characters, I could not believe that. I mean, I literally can't wait to see them, what they look like. So I'm excited that they're going to be added to the roster. The first one was Ridley from Metroid, and now obviously you know Ridley is one of the bosses. And that character is big, but they said they were going to scale it down and explain how that happened. And the second one, which is even more exciting for me personally, was Simon Belmont from Castlevania. So this roster leak happened. Does anybody, first of all, does anybody on the panel own a Switch other than me? Well, then the crickets have
oh man, I should have had my cricket sound effect ready.
Oh man, that'd have been great.
That was so spooky.
It was like, okay, the dead air of the show. Okay, no problem. I'm sorry, folks. Well, listen, look,
I'm sorry, Boom Bro. I'm not really interested in Nintendo stuff right now.
Listen, I get it. Not everyone is a Nintendo fan. Not everyone is a Smash Brothers fan. So I'm not going to really go into too much of the questioning with the panel because if it's not your thing, if it's like Mooch said, it's not my bag, baby. If it's not your bag, I get it. But here I want to move on to the next thing regarding Nintendo, and it's involving Xbox. And I think this is something to discuss, even if you're not a fan of the game. There were rumors a couple of weeks ago where it was there were on the Nintendo Treehouse event, they were going to be teaming up with Xbox to make a special announcement. Now, obviously, the interwebs went bananas because you're like, holy cow, what are they going to do? Am I going to play Master Chief on a Switch? The answer is no, stop it. But I do think that we are going to get Banjo and Kazooie in Smash Brothers. And I think doing a team up kind of a announcement would be really cool for Nintendo, but also really cool for the brand because Banjo Kazooie, it is a fantastic franchise. It's something those two characters I really love. I grew up playing platformers. Did anybody on the panel think that this kind of announcement is good for both companies, not just Nintendo?
Yeah, actually, I think it's really cool, especially if it's a rare rare, actually, like the developers or the studio. It's a rare title because those are beloved, especially the older ones that were on the N64 and stuff like that. So I can definitely see them teaming up to do something like that. I don't know if they would do anything new, like how you mentioned Master Chief or anything like. I doubt that.
No.
But something older, a classic title that was previously on that system anyway, I can definitely see coming back. So Banjo-Kazooie is actually perfect to describe that.
Okay, that's cool. Jay, what do you think? I mean, like I said, we've already disclaimed our age, so you know you probably played those Banjo-Kazooie games. Is it something that you think is exciting for the both the companies? Oh, he's on mute. All right. Well, Welsh, I'll go to you, brother. You know, I know that you may not be the biggest Nintendo fan, but do you think that this is a good move for Microsoft to show, you know, that that unity with another company?
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, there's certainly nothing. There's no real negative you can take from it. I think collaboration between these platforms is always a good thing. Like with crossplay and stuff like that. I mean,
oh yeah,
I don't see anything wrong with it. Like if you have a preferred platform but you want to play with your buddy on a certain game, or like a collaboration is good. So yeah, I mean, I might not be the biggest Nintendo fan. Don't get me wrong, that Zelda game looked dope. I mean,
oh yeah, I put 125 hours into the to Zelda on the Switch, dude. That was
wow.
Fantastic. Yeah, I spent some real time in that game.
Wow. Well,
I
that
beat it
game
twice.
does look good. It looks very good.
Yeah.
But same with the question earlier about PlayStation. I just haven't got the money or time to you know, buy another system with another load of games. Like, but it does look dope. But no, in answer to your question, yeah, I think collaboration is good. I see nothing wrong with that at all.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
Also, I can see this being a good thing if in the future, like not in the future, like too far away, but like maybe a couple of years from now, they can revise some of these titles so we do get a new Banjo. And the fact that some people may have maybe playing it on with Smash Bros on the Switch, then maybe that could help. You know, because by then everybody or more people will know who Banjo is, not
Yeah.
just the old school players, right? You have more current new players. So yeah, this could help for a future title.
Well, I am going to say this. I talked about this on one of the earlier shows that I had this month, but there are heavy rumors that we are going to get a 20th anniversary of a full-on reboot of a version of the Banjo-Kazooie to celebrate the 20th anniversary. So, with that rumor added with the fact that they may actually make an announcement with Nintendo, makes perfect sense. Where they're like, okay, we're gonna announce this on the Switch, where Banjo-Kazooie are going to be in Smash Brothers, and then we're going to announce the 20th anniversary of the game. I think that would be great press for a title that a lot of us grew up on.
Mm-hmm.
But what I'm going to do is I want to move on to the next topic, and of course I'm immediately going right over to my favorite person, or one of them, is Luca. She played Dark Souls, the remasters. We have two gigantic releases today. Detroit Become Human and Dark Souls Remaster and I'll get to each one of the panel members. Luca, I know you played Dark Souls.
Yeah.
I know you already said you're gonna be buying Become Human, but are you excited that this is a killer Friday for you?
Dude, I'm so happy. Actually, okay, so it's gonna sound so lame, but I took today off because I knew that Dark Souls was coming out.
That's not lame. That's awesome.
Yeah, so I've had this day planned for a while, and I completely forgot it was Memorial Day weekend. So when I was like, oh snap, I have Friday off and Monday off, so it's gonna be a 4-day weekend just gaming. I'm so happy, bro. I love the Souls series. I mean, take a look at my name. It's the Ash and Luca.
Yes,
you know?
Yes.
So it's like, this is just so great for me. And I know there's a lot of PC Souls fans who are having an issue with the remaster, in the sense that they don't think it's worth the money, even though they get it half off if they already own the game, because they say that mods have already done what this remaster is doing.
Yes.
So they're not really fond of it. But I'm just like, well, if that's the case, then this game's more for
console players.
Because console, like, the original Dark Souls, I played on PlayStation 3, so you can only imagine how disastrous that was. But like, there are certain areas like Blight Town where the frames would just, oh god, it was so bad. Like
it would drop down to a stutter where you literally would have to like watch it frame by frame. It was bad.
It was really, really bad. And in a game like Dark Souls, where dying is like monumental, it was rough. I mean, I got through it. I got through it the first time, and then I tried playing it again with backwards compatibility on the Xbox, and I was like, I can't do this. Like, I just can't do it. The frame drops. It's too much for me. But when they announced, okay, Dark Souls Remastered, 4K, I'm like, oh, that's cool. 60 frames. 60 frames on Dark Souls? I'm right there. I'm like right there. And I'm really happy. I'm really excited. It's been so much fun so far. I actually woke up at like 7 a.m. because I went to bed super early last night. But I woke up at 7 a.m. and I immediately started playing Dark Souls.
It's almost like Christmas for you.
Yeah, it's amazing. Aww. I'm so happy. So I'm having a really good time with it. I definitely think that if you're a console only player and you're a Souls fan, pick it up. It's $40. I didn't pay for it, but it's $40, and I think it's worth money. I would have bought it even if I didn't get it from Tommy Bro. So shout out to him. But I would have bought it even if I didn't get it from him. So I'm happy. Like, I'm really, really happy with it, and I'm enjoying it. Our friend Scrotum, he's going to play with me later today. A couple of my other guys said they're going to play with me. So yeah, it's going to be a really good weekend because I don't really have anything planned.
I mean, talk about strategically putting out 2 games on a holiday weekend. Real smart.
Really smart.
Super smart. Yeah. And obviously, are you picking up Detroit Become Human?
Yes, I am. I have a hair appointment today.
Nice.
I'm going to go to that. And then afterwards, I will go to Best Buy or GameStop or whichever, and I'll pick the game up.
Nice.
And I will install that however long it takes to install, because my internet's really bad. However long it takes to install that. And then a couple people have asked me to stream it, so I'll stream Detroit sometime today if that's what they want.
Okay, cool. Foxy, are you buying both games, one game or none?
I'm leaning more towards Detroit because I actually enjoy those kind of games, story-based games, and also I played the demo and really enjoyed that, even though the controls were a little bit clunky. I still am interested to see what happens in that storyline, and I want to see what happens to those characters in particular. They did highlight 3 of them for sure that I'm like, ooh, I wonder what happens to this guy or, this chick. So, yeah, I want to pick up Detroit. I don't know if I'm going to get it today. Maybe, down the line. I don't know. But I'm not a Dark Souls player. This is a really tough game. I did try that one in particular, the first one, a long time ago, and it just wasn't for me. But it looks cool. I'm glad that they're putting 60 frames on it and everything like that. All my friends are hyped about it, so I'm happy for them more so than anything. But yeah, definitely 2 drops, 2 releases, and I know a lot of people are going to pick these games up. But yeah, I might wait for a sale, actually. Now that I'm thinking about it, I might wait for Detroit to be on sale or something so I could pick it up.
Yeah, and a couple, these games, they notoriously drop after a couple of weeks being out on the market to boost sales. So you may be able to get it for like $40 or something.
Yeah.
Well, I know you don't have a PS4, so Detroit out for you. Are you a Dark Souls fan? Would you be interested in the remaster?
I've never played Dark Souls. I've never played. I mean, it's not that I don't like the look of it. I can't even think like why I would not have played it. It looks like my kind of game. Is it really as good as people are saying?
Do you like to die a lot?
If you like
for the Stockholm syndrome to kick in.
It's very challenging. If anything, I love watching Dark Souls streams and stuff like that because those are really good. And I've even tried Bloodborne, and they're just not for me.
Yeah, I've watched several of Luca's, and she's inhuman when she's playing this game. It's like, yeah, that's not happening for these old hands. I'm sorry. I'm going to keep it moving.
It sucks. The thing that sucks the most, right, is that there's so many Souls players who are so arrogant and like.
Yeah, their community is tough, Luca. It's the truth. The Souls community are a little snobbish at times.
They're awful. It's just
yeah.
They'll come and say it's not hard. Oh, that was so easy. I beat it first try. Well, shut up, God. Like if someone's and then like there's been a couple of times where I've been talking to people like randomly on my timeline, or if they come to me, and then some jerk just comes out of nowhere like, get good. I'm like, shut up. They act like they picked up the controller and they were automatically gods at this game. That's not how it works, man.
No, it's definitely a lot of rinse and repeats.
A lot of trial and error.
Dying.
Like eventually for me, like I don't really think these games are hard anymore, but that's after playing all 4 games. I beat Dark Souls 3 5 times.
Wow.
I beat Bloodborne twice. Wow. I'm playing through Dark Souls again now, and I beat Dark Souls 2. It's like I've played these games hundreds and hundreds of hours into these games. So for me, it's like, okay, this is fine. I don't get scared or nervous or anything, really. It's great for me. It's not hard for me anymore, but that's just because I'm used to it. But there are so many people who want to get into it, who pick it up for the first time, and it's like, that kind of attitude, it makes people not want to play the game. And it's like, oh God, it's the worst. I remember when I started playing these games, I wasn't on Twitter or the internet or anything like that. I just watched certain YouTubers who were super into the game, who talked about the lore, who did walkthroughs. I watched them, and I was able to get into the game slowly but surely. Thank God I wasn't on Twitter when I started playing that game, because I probably would have been deterred from actually beating them, just because there's so many jerks, man. They're awful.
Yeah, they can be. Jay, are you going to pick them up? Well, we know you're not getting the Detroit, which is for obvious reasons, but does Dark Souls interest you personally?
To quote Bizarro Phil Spencer, nope.
That's awesome. The one word answer, and you're out. Close the curtains. We're done.
Yeah, basically, I think I would enjoy them if I was better at them. I think it's an age thing too. It's an age and a patience thing. Plus, playing with one hand, I did find that game a little challenging with being able to block and attack. I mean, like I said, I got into one. I played it for about 10 hours. I did enjoy it when I got my rhythm, and when you weren't afraid to take on several enemies at one time. I was at that point where I could do that, but it just became one of those games where I ended up in the wrong spot at the wrong time and didn't know what to do. And I was like, I'm not backtracking all that time to go back to where I was to kind of find a different path. It lost my interest. And I'm the type of guy that I have such a short attention span that if I can't get through something like 3 or 4 times, I'm putting it on the shelf, basically.
No, listen, that makes sense. You get frustration. Listen, for some games, it's okay. The frustration of a difficult title will push you to be a better player, but there comes a point where banging your head against the wall sometimes isn't really productive.
That's right. Right. Isn't that the definition of insanity? Doing the same thing over and over again, looking for a different outcome. Well, I never seem to get that different outcome yet.
I always tell people who want to get into these games, like, the advice I give them is, if you start feeling frustrated, stop. Take a break. Go do something else. Because if you try playing a game when you're frustrated, you'll just make more mistakes, and then you'll eventually get to a point where you're like, hey, man, screw this game. I'm never playing it again. Because that's what I did. As soon as I started feeling like upset or frustrated, I put my controller down and I went to go do something else. And then I came back later. And that's how I was able to get through all of them.
Nice. Well, I mean, that's really life in itself. You know what I'm saying? If you really like something, you're going to go out of your way to get better, to continue playing. And, again, I can't state it enough. I absolutely suck at Dark Souls. Luca was even willing to train me, and I was like, you know what? I'm just a lost cause.
I'm also proud. I'm proud to say that I've never broken a controller by getting frustrated at a game, but I have broken some buttons. Therefore,
I think that kind of a game would break buttons. So we're going to move on to another topic, and it's the last 2 topics of the show are going to be Sony related. I think this week.
Okay, I'm gonna go make a sandwich.
Yeah, you could if you want to make a sandwich. I get it. Sony's CEO John Cordera was at an investors meeting with a lot of suits, and he candidly was speaking about how the PlayStation 4 is basically at the end of its life cycle. And the question I have for the chat and for the panel: should PlayStation 4 players be worried or excited? I'm going to go right to the Welsh Gamer because I really want to hear your insight. I know that you don't have a PS4, but you do talk about the business on your shows. And that, of course, sometimes includes PlayStation. Should the gaming community who support the brand be excited or worried about this move?
I think if there's word of the next PlayStation system coming out, like say next year, if I was a PlayStation fan, I'd be pissed off, like genuinely, really, really annoyed. Same with Xbox. If like the Xbox One X is very new, really. If they said like, oh, next year the Xbox Z is coming out, I'd be like, whoa, whoa, whoa! I've just spent, like, people who've just spent hard-earned money on a Pro or an X, or you want to get at least a few years out of it, I think, and I think that's more than fair. For any gamer, like, some people are doing better than others. Some people have all the money in the world; they can buy 10 of each system, and it don't affect them. But for some people like myself, I've spent a lot of money on my system, and I wouldn't be too pleased to hear that they're making another one so soon. I think, and this goes for PlayStation and Xbox now, I think the earliest should be late 2020, maybe even early 2021.
Yeah, I agree.
I think it can't any earlier than that. They're taking us for fools. They're fucking ripping us off.
Yeah, I agree. I think, well, I mean, for a lot of reasons, I think 2020, simply because we are I was a PlayStation 1 owner, but a lot of people don't know this about me. I basically used to import everything. My friends used to make fun of me, saying I used to run to the dock and wait for them to come in.
Nice.
And I imported everything. I had the PlayStation 1 8 months before it was here in the States. And I had the PlayStation 2 8 months before it was here in the States. And then obviously, as the generations moved on, the releases from Japan to North America were relatively close by a week. So at that point, you weren't really, I wasn't importing. But the 2020 happens to be a very important date for the PlayStation brand because it marks the 25th anniversary of the actual PlayStation in North America. And I think that, if there's one thing to take away from Sony in this generation, is their marketing has been nothing short of Oscar winning every time. I mean, think about this for a second. Every game that comes out, and again, Detroit Become Human may not be that game, but every one of their big AAA pillar titles moves consoles from that, for the company. And it's not just because of the game. It's just not because of the PlayStation. Their marketing is everywhere. Everywhere you look, every YouTube video you watch, if you don't have YouTube Red, you're seeing some sort of a PlayStation commercial. You're seeing PlayStation commercials at NBA games. You're seeing them on every, big time TV show. So their marketing has been amazing. And I would imagine that if they were to release the PS5 in 2020, the marketing machine that would come running forward would sell them millions and millions of consoles. Jay, I know that you don't have a PS4. You said you were going to make a sandwich.
I'm done. I'm back.
Oh, excellent. That's good to know. Should people who like myself, who recently, again, I can't even take credit for it. My awesome wife bought me the PlayStation 4 Pro God of War edition as a surprise. But people who recently purchased a Pro, do you think that they're going to feel ripped off if they try to, shove a PS5 next year?
It's hard to say, because I think some people, I'm not saying all, but there are some people out there that may be a little bit disappointed that Sony no longer has the Power Crown. And if the PS5 means they'll have the Power Crown for a short amount of time, they'll go buy it. Like, as for myself, I bought the S when the S came out. I bought the X when the X came out. Much to my wife's dismay, I spent the money in those things because that's the hobby that I enjoy.
Right.
I believe people that enjoy gaming and are hard, I shouldn't even say hardcore, because that's such a weird term. What is hardcore, right? But if people enjoy gaming and that's their hobby, they'll buy it. and if they're a PlayStation fan, they'll buy it. I believe that.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I mean, that's again, if it's your vice, if it's something that you love doing, you'll figure it out. Even if you're
That's
trading
right.
in your old one, for sure.
Exactly.
Foxy, would you be in the market for a PS5? If obviously we know that you borrow from your brother, but would you go out if they showed killer titles?
Oh my God, yes. I'm already gonna say yes before you even finish, because if for sure they're gonna have some amazing titles to show right off the bat,
yes.
and my brothers don't feel like moving up because my brothers are more leaning on the casual side, so they wait a while and before they pick up any anything specific or any new things or anything like that. So if I see some awesome stuff and they're still rocking their PlayStation 4 and they're happily just playing that, then yeah, I would definitely go out of my way to pick a PlayStation 5 up and try some new games and everything for sure. And like you were saying, they got some amazing marketing, so I'm pretty sure they're going to be able to show off and entice people to jump into the next one, because they've been doing this all gen. They've been showing off amazing marketing even when they didn't have that much to show, and they were rocking third-party games and they were showing those off like they were exclusive even though they weren't, right? So I mean, they could do a lot with this next system. The only thing I can say is, yeah, some people might not be ready to jump over to the PlayStation 5 because maybe they just got a PlayStation 4. Maybe they still want to see whatever PlayStation 4 has left because maybe they just got their Pro. And now they're just releasing a lot of hits. So maybe they're just happy with what they have right now, and they want to enjoy their PlayStation 4 and whatever titles are coming out right now. So maybe they're not ready to jump in. But people that've been there since day one on the PlayStation 4, they want to see new stuff. They want to see what else the system could push, right? So yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing what they have. I agree with you guys. I don't think they're going to do that right now. I think they're going to wait until like 2020, 2021 or whatever. But
yeah.
Who knows?
And if PlayStation 5 comes out with a game with a joystick that has staggered thumbsticks, I'll find a way to buy it.
Yeah, well, I mean, there's a SCUF controller that my brother Neo Mental sent me, which looks absolutely amazing, and it looks literally identical to the Elite. It looks, it's $200, so I'm not going to jump on that right now, but it's something I would consider investing in.
There's that $60 adapter that you can buy now that works with the PlayStation 4 and the Switch. So that's something down the road. But like I said, I'm not in the market for a new system right now.
Luca, PS5 in your wheelhouse, or at this point you don't care?
Absolutely, I can't wait. Yes, please bring on the PS5. I am so sick and tired of these weak ass systems. Listen, no offense, but the PlayStation 4 Pro doesn't seem like it's worth the money for the minor upgrade. You know what I mean?
You get a bit of a graphical boost, but not by much. They have like a boost mode basically added to it, and that's about it.
Yeah, it's not worth it. I was actually considering picking up a Pro for God of War because of the performance mode until I found, and they were like, well, I mean, it's not really, it's just like, what kind of gets there. I'm like, God, what's the point? There's absolutely no point. I'm not
save your money.
Like, listen, I'm not bringing another system in here that can't hold 60. That's all I want. I want these systems to hold.
That's probably going to be the standard moving forward with both.
Oh yeah, I would hope so.
So I can't wait for the PlayStation 5. For all those who are complaining about the PlayStation 5 coming out, like, oh, I just bought a PlayStation 4. Literally, it's been, what, 4 years?
Well, it'd be 5 years this November.
It's been 5 years, man.
5 years this November.
Like, except for 7th gen, aren't most console generations 5 years? Like, what are we doing here? Like, I don't know.
Yeah, usually, yep.
Yeah, last gen was a freak accident somehow. It lasted so long.
Yeah, like, I'm excited. I'm very excited for the PlayStation 5. I'm not getting another Xbox unless they show me something.
Well, I mean, if they blow your socks off with like amazing, first party.
I would say that for both, for me though.
Yeah, for sure.
Like PlayStation has to show me something awesome. I'm pretty sure all they have to do is show Luca Persona 6 or something.
Yes.
I mean, I agree. Like, even for the Xbox, they got to show me something for me to upgrade to, because I'm happy with this system. My friends got it for me, obviously, which I love it. But I don't have a reason to jump to the next Xbox if I'm so happy with this one. So yeah.
Yeah, I just Xbox has not been releasing any games that show me that it's worth any upgrade, because the games that they've been releasing do not take advantage of the X in terms of graphical fidelity or frame rate. So I'm just like, all right, well, I don't need to get another Xbox. I'm perfectly fine with my X. I'm cool with my X. I will keep my X for as long as I can until they, if they come out with the next Xbox and they show off a first party title that is leagues better on the next Xbox, and in terms of frame rate and gameplay and all that, okay, sure, I'll jump in 100%. But as it stands right now, I'm sorry, but Xbox is not showing me anything that makes me think, you know what, I'm definitely going to get the next Xbox. Like, they haven't shown me anything. PlayStation has.
Yeah, no, you're right. Absolutely. Well, look, we're going to move to the last topic of the show, and that, of course, is my Road to E3 segment that I'm doing all the way up until E3. And the question that I'm going to have for the chat, as well as, of course, my esteemed guests, are, we all know Sony is only showing off 4 games, and we know what those 4 games are. But I know Sony. I've been in this game way, way, way too long to think that that's all they're going to show. Now, granted, last year's E3 was pretty bad in the sense where they got their show done. They got their show done in 54 minutes. Every time I think I'm not sure what the guy's name was, came out on stage, the one that everyone's always making fun of, that he wears tight shirts. He looked like he didn't want to be there. He seemed like he was literally rushing off stage just to be done with it, and that's never a good scene. So obviously, I think they're going to do much better. But the question that I have for the chat and for the fine folks here is, what 2 franchises do you think that they could, because they're going to be secret announcements. They're going to be special announcements that are specifically branded for PlayStation players that people actually care about. And I'm going to jump right in first. I'm going to answer my own question because I've been sitting on this for a while. Everyone makes fun of the PlayStation not being able to do a multiplayer game. That's like the big running joke. Like, Xbox is multiplayer, PlayStation is single player. They do it so well. But you know what? There was a time when Sony actually used to do killer multiplayer in the form of SOCOM. And I played the heck out of that series. I thought it was absolutely fantastic back in the days. I think, personally, this is an E3 prediction, that it would be in their best interest to bring back SOCOM and show the world, the gaming world, that, yes, they can still do multiplayer. And I don't know who they're gonna task to do that, because the company that made that I don't think it even exists anymore. It would have to be one of their big first-party studios. And the second one for me, and I think this is a big one as well, and if you're a PlayStation fan, this should be right up your alley. I would love for them to revisit the Siphon Filter series. That was a fantastic series that came out around the time of Sam Fisher and Splinter Cell. I think it was a very, very powerful title for the brand, and I would love to see them do, take what makes Sony, right? Take Siphon Filter, make it a third person, over the shoulder, gritty, real life, action romp, and bring that and really rebrand that brand. Foxy, you made some noise on this. What 2 games or a particular game would you love to see Sony be like, okay, hold on, folks, before we go, we have one more surprise? What would be that game for you?
Oh man. Okay, well, I had to bring out my E3 wish list notes that I was already doing because I'm going to work on a video, and
Nice.
I wrote some stuff on there, and I completely agree with you. SOCOM definitely is that title they need because it had that multiplayer. Obviously, I went ooh because you said Siphon Filter, and I grew up playing that with my brothers. Definitely.
Oh, great game.
So
Great
those
game.
2 titles, hell yeah, I would love to see them come back. Because you mentioned those, I'll mention some other ones that I would like to see come back, and that is Jak and Daxter. That would be awesome if they come back.
Yes.
Yeah, that would be nice. That I want it to look like how Ratchet and Clank did when
So
they
good.
just did that. That would be amazing. And then Warhawk is actually another game I used to play on the PS3.
My God, that's great, Foxy. That was fantastic.
It's just a massive multiplayer kind of map, and I think that would be another title that they need because people are always mentioning that multiplayer stuff, and that was really fun. So I miss those kind of games.
Oh, those were better than mine. Those are fantastic. Those are fantastic picks.
Yes,
Luca,
awesome.
You were originally a PlayStation player. I mean, you tell everyone that you moved over to the Xbox, and you've experienced
Xbox. Team Xbox.
Okay. Well, what game as a PlayStation fan could they go? Well, we have one more announcement, and it's this. What would be like? Okay, I'm going back to PlayStation because they announced this title. Looks amazing. What would wet your whistle, so to speak?
Another Bloodborne, but that's not gonna happen.
Yeah, that's and I think that we're gonna get that. I didn't put that in my notes, but I think everyone is clamoring for it. I think that they've been working on it, and that's gonna sell 5 million. That could be a God of War situation where if Bloodborne 2 comes out, it's 3 million.
You're hyping her up, man. Stop it. You're hyping her up.
If they did another Bloodborne, I would just be so happy. I'd be like, this is the best day of my life. Honestly, PlayStation would win E3 for me if they did that. Kind of like how Xbox won E3 for me last year because they showed Life is Strange before the start.
Yes. I think we're gonna get it. I didn't have it in my notes. I absolutely forgot all about it, but that is definitely one I think that I think they have to show it because everyone has been asking for it, and it is a very strong Sony only game. I mean, it just defines. I think it defines this generation as being one of their top Sony exclusives. To be completely honest,
they actually sold systems.
Yes,
so yeah,
for
sure. I listen to Souls podcasts and stuff, right? And a couple of Souls guys who are PC only, right? They actually picked up PlayStation 4s for Bloodborne.
Yep.
Because they're like From Software, favorite dev. Wait a
second. So wait a second, Lucas. So what you're saying is that exclusives sell consoles? Wait a second.
I know it may be hard to believe.
I think we need to ship you over to Redmond and maybe sit down in a meeting and curb stomp Phil Spencer or something because they need to hear this.
Yeah. It's kind of bad, bro.
Welsh. What again, you've been gaming for a while. You obviously probably had a PlayStation at one time or another. What title would be like, wow, I now have to go out and buy a PlayStation 4 because they just blew my socks off with this particular title? What would get you excited for? We have one more announcement at this year's E3 for Sony.
I have not had to take any time to answer this one. I was a PlayStation 1, 2, and 3 gamer. PlayStation 4 is the only one I haven't bought. And my highlight of my PlayStation career, should we put it, The Getaway.
Oh, dude, that's a great one. Wow, that's really reeling it back.
If they brought back The Getaway, like say they remastered the first and second one in a bundle with the third installment that they announced at E3, fuck me, I would camp outside of a shop to buy my PlayStation.
Nice, dude. That's a good one, dude. Wow, that was nowhere on my radar, but that's a really good pick.
It's my favorite game of PlayStation history by far. I love those games.
Wow, dude. That was a really good one. And of course, J Dubs, the guy who I really appreciate his opinions. What PlayStation game could they say we have one more game and boom, here it is, and you're like, that's it. Sorry, hon, I'm gonna not eat for a month. I'm buying a PlayStation 4.
Thrill Kill 2.
Hey, listen, you know what? That I didn't expect that one, but okay.
Have you guys ever played it? It was the band.
Sounds like a scary game. No, thank you.
It was like a fighting game.
It was a banned PS1 game.
That is correct.
It was so violent that they banned it in most countries.
Yes, correct.
And I just put a link in the chat in the group, so if you guys want to go take a look at what this game looked like, it was like an insane asylum with crazy people in a padded room, and you fought to the death.
You cut off limbs. Wow. You did multi kills. Wow. It was really. It was like it was the poster child for violence in games need to stop. That's how bad it was.
That's right. Exactly. Yeah. So
I mean, I'm going to throw another one in there because I'm such a big fan of one of their. My favorite is, I'll tell you in a second, but I would love, and I really mean this, for them to revisit Twisted Metal. I think.
Oh my God!
Twisted Metal Black was one of my favorite PlayStation games. The soundtrack was killer. I absolutely think that a driving vehicle game with, you know, Sweet Tooth and the rest of the gang. Listen, I don't even want them to continue the series. Just reboot Black.
Oh my God. Yeah, I was
gonna
say reboot it because, okay, I really loved 3. 3 was our favorite. We played all of them, but 3 was the one we always went back to. Amazing Rob Zombie soundtrack and everything like that.
Fantastic, yes.
But definitely reboot it because that last one they did on PS3, oh man, it was so disappointing.
Yeah,
I went out of my way and everything, get that and play that, and it was kind of this is not the same. So if they reboot it and make it more like Black or like the first couple of ones that they had, oh man, that would be awesome.
Yeah, that actually would be awesome. Well, listen, folks, I don't want to take any more of your time. The show is running almost at 2 hours. It's the longest show we've done. It's the biggest panel I've ever put together. I cannot thank my guests for coming on and taking their Friday to come hang out with me and the rest of the chat. Once again, the chat is what keeps us going, and we had an amazing group of people. I just want to kind of shout out a few people that have been here from the beginning. Zen Chill, Aaron Summers, Don Duke, Mooch popped up for a bit. I appreciate him coming by. Miso Newbie, thank you so much. DJ Singh, always showing up in the chat. Tryhard Fan, good friend of mine. Let me see who else. Art Freddy came. Thanks for hanging out with us. Let's see who else, because this is a long list of
Scrotum and Timidos.
Yes,
they're awesome.
Yes, yeah. Thank you guys for coming out.
Gaming Forte.
Yep.
DJ Singh.
Yeah, well, this show is dependent not only on having amazing guests with incredible opinions about gaming, but more so the community support. And I have been absolutely floored on how amazing this community has opened their arms to me. I'm like I said, my channel is growing, and that is only because of the support that this absolutely stunning community has shown me. And now we're just going to move to the outros. We'll start off with Lady Foxfire. I love your channel. I think what you do on it is amazing. I saw your video yesterday where you kind of did like a news breakdown. I thought that was fantastic.
Yeah, it's a new thing.
Yeah, that's you should go with that, because I think that is going to bring a lot of business to your channel, giving everyone an update of what's coming out and what happened. It's it's like a buffet. You come there and you don't have to take everything, but you're going to walk away satisfied because you're going to at least take 6 things. And where can people find you, Foxy?
Oh, definitely check out my YouTube channel. Like you said, thank you so much for saying all those sweet things and stuff like that. That really motivates me to keep making new videos and sharing my opinions with everyone. So thank you for that. And definitely check out, actually follow me on Twitter. I'm always there chatting with everybody, sharing deals or anything like that. Yes. Sharing links, everybody's podcast that I do listen to, because I just love listening to everybody's thoughts and opinions about this crazy gaming community, about this crazy gaming industry. And then I do Gaming Den usually on Fridays at 12, but we didn't do one this week. But I did, I'm glad I still got to join you guys and talk. So I could have kept going. If we were talking about old school games, Twisted Metal and SOCOM, I could have kept going all day. But
yeah, well, we're definitely going to find out. I'm interested to see your E3 video you're going to put out.
My wish list.
Yeah, when is that going to be available?
Probably sometime this week, in the beginning of the week, probably Monday or something like that. So nice, yeah, really soon.
Yeah, get out there, follow her on Twitter, check out her channel, give her some thumbs up. She does great work. Now I'm going to move on to Princess Luca, one of my favorite people. You have been so awesome to talk to get to know. Obviously it's a privilege to call you, like a sister, not just a friend. We've had some really cool conversations about real life. And I opened up to you about what I used to do, and you were absolutely awesome about it, because a lot of people aren't, and I get it. I some people are turned off by the police. I completely get it, but you were ultra supportive, and I came on your show and I kind of spilled my guts, almost crying at the end like a baby.
That's some good shit, man.
Yeah. Where could people find you? I know you have your Saturday show, which is the Scumcast, which I happened to be on a couple of weeks ago, and it is amazing. Your panel of regulars are fantastic. Where else can people find you if they want to check out your stuff?
Wow. Okay. So first thing I want to say is thank you so much for having me. I was very excited. I work during the week, and Boom hit me up a couple weeks ago. He's like, hey, I really want to get you on. And I'm like, okay, I have this day off, just sign me up. I'm definitely going to make it. So
Awesome.
I'm happy I was able to make it. I'm happy I'm on with Welsh Gamer. He's a cool guy from what I've seen. I'm happy to be on with my homie J-Dubs, my dude right there. I'm happy to be on with my babe. I'm so happy you're able to get her on, because I love doing shows with her.
I kind of bribed her, because I said you were gonna. I used you, Luke. I said, yeah,
No.
Luke is gonna be on. And any chance you want to be on too?
I mean, he hit the sweet spot, but
yes, obviously. Yeah, I was really happy to hear that she would be on, because I love doing shows with her. And I love doing shows with you too, Boom Bro. I'm actually trying to coerce you into coming up to Scumcast more often. But
for sure. That's something we definitely got to work on. I love the show. It's and sometimes Saturdays are a little tough, because I got to make sure that my wife and I cannot take time away from her, because she is my number one supporter, and she a lot of people don't get this, trying to balance a work life, a home life, and a gaming life where the public is involved, it could be very difficult at times.
Yeah.
Preaching to the choir, bro. Preaching to the choir.
Yeah, and more than anyone. And of course, I will immediately go right over to someone that has really, I don't think I would be in the position I'm in right now if it wasn't for the Graphic God. Not only has he done both of my intros, not only has he done my banner for Twitter and for the show, but all of my gamer picks. This guy's work is impeccable. He's one of the nicest people that I know, to be completely honest. And I think of him as more like family than I do just in a personality. J-Dubs, where can people find your work?
I'm going to start crying now.
That's what family does, brother.
That was so beautiful. Yeah, so I do a podcast on Tuesday evenings with Supersonic Station. We call it Retro Renegades, and we play old school games. So Luca and Foxy, I think I've seen Foxy in the chat before. Luca, if you like some old school Nintendo, Sega.
Hell yeah, I've been
I
there.
don't know what that is, sir.
Gosh.
Damn.
So yeah, we play some old school games, and it's almost like the old arcade environment where people would just show up at the arcade and stand around an arcade cabinet and gab. And
oh yeah, that was awesome. And Jay, thanks to you, I actually went out of my way to pick up Raging Justice. I was like, yes, I need to play this, because I love Streets of Rage.
Such a fun game. So yeah, you can find me on Tuesday nights there. I'm on Twitter at graphic_god. I've got a website if you're looking for gamer picks. It's xboxgamerpicks.com, and I offer more than gamer picks, but it's usually all I advertise on that site. So if you're looking for banners and logos or anything, you can hit me up there. And I do MNC mornings on Sunday. I produce that show with Mooch and Crap. And and every week the show gets better. So stop by on Sunday mornings at 11 Eastern and check us out. Yeah, you might actually see something crazy move across the screen and not know what the hell's going on.
Well, if it's a pony, I'm calling in because I want a prize, damn it.
I had zombies last week.
Nice. And listen, last but certainly not least, and the showrunner of a fantastic podcast that people just really need to check out because his opinions are genuine. And in this business, it's hard to get that. And that, of course, is my very, very good friend, the Welsh Gamer, who, again, go check out the Dragon X podcast. Dude, thanks again for being here. Where could people find you if they want to follow you, if they want to check out the podcast?
Boom. Thank you very much for having me, dude. And all the panel members who've joined this show, J-Dubs, Lady Foxfire, Luca, incredible panel. Had a great time chatting to you all. And thank you very much for having me, Boom. I hope to jump on again sometime. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, we're definitely going to have, I mean, again, I want to have everybody back on again. This is, again, it's a conversational podcast. Every one of you brings something very special to every show that you're on, not just mine. And I love hearing from you. And I just want to say thanks again to the community. Real quick, enjoy your holiday weekend. Have fun with friends and family. This is going to be my police coming out. Don't drink and drive. It is not worth it. Be safe. Have a fantastic weekend. Thanks again for coming out and hanging out on this week's episode with Breakfast with Boom. Have a great weekend, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.